Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of She's Growing. And if you are new to this channel, if this is your first time seeing me on your screen, a special welcome to you to She's Growing, a community that talks about personal growth and development, self care, self love, self awareness, faith, and Christian talk. My name is Esther, and I am the host for She's Growing. On today's topic, we're going to be discussing something very interesting. I think I say that all the time, every time I'm starting a video. Anyways, let's go right into today's topic. I themed today's topic becoming the girl you needed when you were younger. This video is going to serve as a form of reflection for me, and I love it because I haven't reflected in such open space before. Reflection is something I do very often, but I've never done it whilst recording or speaking like I'm doing currently. So it's going to be different for me, but at the same time I hope it's able to teach you something about life, about yourself, and I hope it makes you more intentional as to how you're able to navigate life. With that being said, let's go into today's video. As always, you see me looking down because my laptop is here and I always have to organize how my talk flows so that I don't disorganize the whole conversation because I'm very, very good at digressing and I don't want that to ruin today's video. So we'll be discussing different things starting from my insecurities to the lies that I once believed, to the pressures I used to feel, to what I wish someone told me when I was younger. The first one on my list is my insecurities. And oh my God, I don't I don't know if I have fully overcome all of the insecurities I have because till date I still have insecurities. As old as I am, I still have insecurities and I think that is okay. I remember vividly being very ashamed of my set of teeth. I don't know, I don't want to say it like now because it's going to make all of you start looking at me now. Anyways, I used to be very insecure about my teeth. They were not placed, they were not arranged very well when I was a teenager. I feel like they are coming a little bit together. But at that time, it wasn't so good looking, and I used to be very, very ashamed of it. Every time I'm laughing, I have to put my hands in my mouth so that nobody sees my teeth. So that was number one insecurity I had. Number two was my hair. I'm still insecure about my hair, but I have accepted that this is how my hair is, and more or less, it's going to be like this forever, and that's completely fine. I don't carry my hair out the way I style this hair. I can never carry it outside. I don't know. I feel like I have a small head. I feel like I have a small head, and people can just see the obvious small skull, and maybe my head is bigger, my head is smaller than my body, you know. So I don't like to carry something that just defines my shape of head. So yes, what other thing was I insecure about? I used to be insecure about my body to some extent. And I feel like that was influenced by a lot of people. Oh, you're slim. Oh, slim girl this, slim girl that. Oh my gosh, you should add. Oh, don't you eat? All of those kind of things. People may just have a way of making you feel bad about yourself. And yes, that got to me actually. It got to me. So, what else? What insecurity do I used to have? I don't know. I can't think of anyone right now, but if anyone comes to mind while on this video, I would share that with you. Let's go on to the next one. The common lies that I used to believe. There's a number of them, and I hope I'm able to remember all of them in this video. The first one is the fact that you're expected to have your life, you're expected to have everything all figured out by the age of 18. 18 is the beginning of adulthood. You should enjoy your 20s. Your 20s is meant for you to, you know, flex, travel. Gosh. And I feel like that is still a thing today because that has pressured so many people, including myself. It's just recently that I've been able to lean onto the fact that it's okay to still figure out life. I mean, I don't think we are ever going to have or get the crack code to life. Even our mothers and fathers are dealing with life. I had an argument with my dad one day, and he said something to me that was very interesting. He said, this is the first time he's been a dad because I confronted him about something he did to me that I didn't like. And he said, this is the first time he's been a dad and he did what he knew best. Even though it wasn't the right thing to do, that was his first experience. And that is just how most of us are living lives as teenagers, as young adults. We are still experiencing life. We are still starting out life. I don't even know who made this a rule that you are supposed to enjoy your life in your 20s. That is a lie. If they said 30s, I'm like, okay, that would make so much sense. But 20s, hello, I'm just graduating from secondary school. I'm just entering uni. What do you mean I'm supposed to be flexing and traveling? With which money? So that is one big lie that a lot of people have said to us and are still saying, funny enough. Sadly, actually, people still sell this narrative of having to figure out life on or before 20. And that is a lie. That is a lie. It is okay. You are allowed to still figure out life at this age. As a matter of fact, you being 25, you being 30, you are still figuring out life for yourself. So the next one on my list is enjoy your 20s. This is going to be the best time of your life. If you don't enjoy your 20s now, you are never going to enjoy your 20s again. That is a that is a lie, and I feel like reflection is just something that has helped me understand that no, it's not supposed to be 20s, it's supposed to be 30s, it's supposed to be 40s. I believe 20s is the best time to work as hard as you want the rest of your life to play out. You have the whole of your 20s to rebrand yourself. Not to rebrand, to brand yourself, actually. You have the whole of your 20s to brand yourself, to create or create a structure that should lead the rest of your life. So anyone that tell you that you should enjoy your 20s, and if you don't enjoy your 20s, you are never going to enjoy any age of your life, that is a big disgusting lie. Okay, you can enjoy yourself in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. And I love it that there's a lot of old women you'd see on the internet that are still living a life. Like lately, I see women in their 50s, in their 60s, and they still look absolutely gorgeous, carrying themselves in a way that speaks elegance, beauty. I love it. And I feel like most of us, all of us, including I myself, should pick that knowledge that 20s is not your entire life. And if you're not able to enjoy your 20s traveling, you know, doing whatever you like, you can as well do that in your 30s. There is no timeline to life. There is no rule that says if you don't enjoy in your 20s, you're never going to enjoy your life again. There's your 30s, there's your 40s, there's your 50s, and so on and so forth. So on to the next, we have your worth is based on your grade. Your worth is based on your appearance. Your worth is based on what you know, which is a lie. Which is a lie. You are not worthy because you are intelligent. You're not worthy because you took first position. You're not less worthy because you're not the best in class. You're not less worthy because you're not as pretty as everyone else. You're not less worthy because your body isn't as pretty as someone else's. How did God define you? That is the voice you should listen to. You are worthy of so many amazing things. Being you, being exactly yourself is what makes you worthy. Being created by God Himself is what made you worthy. Do not allow the society, do not allow your parents, your families, your friends, your classmates to make you feel less of yourself all because you don't have the most outstanding result in class. And I need you to know that there's a clear difference between intelligence and smartness. I'm not going to come up here to tell you that, oh, people that are intelligent are better than people that are smart. That is not how it works. Everyone is made perfect by God. So do not allow anyone to tell you who you are, how worthy you are. You should listen to the word of God. You should listen to the voice of God over your life. You are worthy. Okay? Okay, another common lie, although I think there's a bit of truth in it, is that you need to fit in to be liked. If you don't fit in, people are going to hate on you. That has some sense of truth based off of the fact that you can be friends with certain kind of people. If you are trying to be different, or if you're trying to act differently from how they behave as a group, they would fish you out. They would see you as someone who is against them and not for them. But that is not what I'm trying to point out. The point I'm trying to make is that the people who would love you. You do not need to fake an identity for someone to love you. People think that, oh, if I could act all cool, if I look perfect, if I if I look rich, people are going to like me. No, my dear, you just need to be yourself. The people who would like you would like you. And I tell myself this as well. As an adult, to some extent, I tell myself this, that the people who would like me. The people who would like my personality will like my personality. It's a hard truth that we find it hard to digest because the reality seems different. When you go to certain events, you want to act in a way that you believe you need to act for people to like you. And actually, that might work well for you. But that is punishing yourself because you are denying yourself of your own reality based on who you are, and you are taking in someone else's personality that is not yours. You will suffer it. So the people who would love you will love you. As I tell you this, I'm telling myself as well. Anyways, the next point is you are too young to have real problems. Who said you are too young to have problems? Everyone have problems, including you, including I. And this channel is particular about these problems that you face as teenagers. The confusion, the unexpected reality, the body changes that no one tells them about, the hormones that goes in them, the sudden irritation they feel around certain things, the way they exaggerate feeling, the way they easily get hurt. These are real problems. When you feel like a lot of people don't understand you, when you feel misunderstood all the time, these are real life important problems that need to be dealt with. Especially in Nigeria, people don't find emotional problem a thing. They don't think mental health is very important or necessary. And if you grew up in a Nigerian household, you will know that verbal excuse is like the norm. And one thing our parents fail to understand is that the words they say to us has the power to break us or build us. But that's discussion for another day. Teenagers have real life problems. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Your problem, your thoughts, your worries are all valid. So the next one on my list is you must follow this one path. It is the only way to succeed. That is a lie because there is more than 1,000 ways in which one could succeed. Take, for example, let's say in the education system, the way you would succeed to achieve a good result is different from the way another person would work hard to achieve that same result. What I'm trying to say is that you can succeed in a different way another person would. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't want to make this sound so complicated, but it's as simple as there are thousands ways to succeed in any single thing at all. The next one on my list is you must be productive all the time. I'm saying this to myself because I still fall in this trap. But then awareness is the first step to solution. So I'd say that I've been actively working on that. You don't have to be productive all the time. For someone who's a go achiever, you want to be doing something all the time. Resting feels like wasting time, but that is a lie. Resting is part of growth. Resting is part of the system. It is part of the process. It should not be eliminated, because when you overwork your body, when you overstress yourself, that would affect anything you are doing, even those things that you feel like you need to do for you to forfeit resting. You will not even do really good at that, because your source of energy is overworked, it's tired. So as much as you work to achieve greater goals, put rest in your plan. I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does. Well, go on to the next one. You need to be perfect. I'm speaking to myself again, and I'm speaking to you. You don't need to be perfect. Nobody told me this. This is part of the things that I wish someone told me when I was. You don't need to be perfect. I am a perfectionist, and that has ah, I can't even emphasize. Just take this from me that you don't need to be perfect. And trying to be perfect is going to slow you down, is going to make you sabotage yourself in every single way. Perfection does not exist. Nobody is perfect. Nobody except God Himself. As much as you have flaws, I have my own flaws. Your friends have their flaws. Your parents have their flaws. Nobody is perfect. And the earlier you accept this, the better for you. The earlier you accept this, the earlier you accept your own self. If you're going to take anything from this video, this should ring on your head every single day, because I know how this can get to the teenager's head. It used to get to me a whole lot. But please, please, and please drop that perfectionist mindset. It will not take you anywhere. Even the people that are successful today, none of them were able to be where they are today because they were perfect. It is because they failed so many times, and it is okay not to be perfect. So I'll go on to the next one. You will understand everything when you grow up. Those people that tell you that you don't worry about it. Now, when you grow up, you understand better. Do not buy the idea of, oh, wait, when you get matured, wait, when you grow up, you understand it. No, start now. That is one thing I appreciate so much about myself and how I grew up. I started very early. I'm a high achiever, and that has constantly made me want to make myself better. I started from a very young age trying to build a good life, being a better person, just generally existing in my own space, happy, cheerful, while being myself. I started doing that from a very young age, and that is why I am where I am today. Do not allow anybody to tell you that, oh, when you grow up, you understand better. No, start now. Start now. The earlier, the better. I'm not saying that you have to figure everything out at a very young age, but it is okay to be curious. It is okay to learn. You mustn't wait for a particular age to expose yourself to certain knowledge or certain ideas. That being said, let's go on to the next part of this video. Now, let me quickly talk about the pressures that I felt while growing up. So, because I am the firstborn daughter, I am the only girl of my family. I had this pressure to make things better for my family, and I still do up to date. And I don't think that is entirely a bad pressure. But when it gets too extreme that you have to devalue yourself just to meet up to wherever that pressure is leading you to, that is where it gets bad. These pressures, when they are healthy, they are your drive to attain certain level of achievement for yourself. But like I said, it could get bad when you allow that pressure to define you. So as a firstborn daughter, I had the pressure to, want to work so hard to make life better for my family. And I'm still doing that, and I still will. Another pressure I felt was academic pressure. The come out with good results so you can enter uni, maintain your CGPA. That too is a good pressure. but it should not be at detriment of your own self, of your own value, of your own integrity. Another pressure I felt was from the society. Society's pressure gets to everybody. As much as it gets to you, it gets to me as well, and it still gets to other teenagers, other young adults, other old adults. And I could always say it could be healthy and it could be detrimental. Detrimental in the sense that it makes you devalue yourself, just to meet up to society's standard of beauty. You have to commit all sort of things. You have to do all sort of things. You have to lose your integrity to chase that society's validation. This is a whole entire conversation for a different video because it is vast, very wide, very complicating, and very important as well. So on a different video, we'll talk about this. So yes, I've said pressure from my parents, from my family. I said pressure from my academics, trying to meet up with my grades, CGPA, and all. Society's pressure. Then for the Christian girlies who are usually in the church all the time, that you have this community around where you serve or where you worship God. There is a pressure that exists in that space that people don't talk about enough. The pressure of wanting to meet up to your pastor's standard of life or your mommy's standard of life or your church president. I don't know, but it applies in different contexts. But there's a pressure that comes from the church to always live better for Christ. And it is usually difficult when you have this pressure from the church, you have pressure from society, you have pressures from parents, you have pressures from academic, and like all of them come together and you just lose yourself. Most of the people you see today that are not really living well, they did not plan that they don't want to live well. They never said that to themselves that they don't want to live well. But it just explains how difficult most of these things can be. And that is why I always tell myself never to judge anyone because you don't know the household, you don't know their experiences, you don't know their circumstances. That is an unspoken rule I live by. Anyways, we go on to the next point. So here are the things I wish someone told me earlier. I feel like if I had these knowledge as early as possible, that would put me to some sort of advantage. Number one on my list is the good girl mentality. Once you're a good girl, you are going to have a good life, you're going to have a beautiful life. All you just need to do is to obey your mommy, obey your daddy, um, do what you are do what you are told to do. Don't rebel when they tell you to do A, just go and do A, whether it's right or wrong, just go and do it. That, in fact, I don't know how to express. I wrote I wrote I wrote an article on it on Substack expressing how disappointing it is to find out that the price you need to pay to be successful is not just to be a good girl. So if you're listening to me today, my darling, being a good girl has nothing to offer you. And now I'm not saying that you should go be a bad girl. Bad girl pays. In fact, it's a thing in society. People say things like good girl no they pay, but bad girl they pay. My dear, that is a lie. Bad girl doesn't pay. Good girl doesn't pay. In fact, let me rephrase that so that they don't say, oh, I said this. Good girl actually pays, but it is not your instrument to success. I don't know how to put this that it would make so much sense without complicating the point. Being a good girl is necessary, is important, especially if you're a Christian. You have to live to the standard that God has placed you, right? So that has its own value in itself. But saying that, because while growing up, I had this mindset that all I just need to do is to be a good girl and I'm going to drive the latest cars, I'm going to travel around the world, I'm going to marry the best man, I'm going to have the best of the experiences only because I am a good girl. Well, if you have that mindset, I'm glad you found this video and you are watching it and you are going to change that mindset. It doesn't work that way. You need to work. You need to work hard. You need to work smart to attain certain level of success. Okay? So that is one thing. Next on my list is you don't need to rush your life. That is something I'm actually learning now because I had this unspoken pressure of, when I said the pressure of having to figure out life before 18, I had that pressure work on me. And every single time I'm usually working, thinking of how to make money before I'm 18. That is why, and I believe that is one reason why every birthdays of mine are never good days for me. I'm usually sad on my birthdays. I cry a lot on my birthdays. I forget the good things God has done for me, and I lament a lot on my birthdays because I feel like I'm closer to this particular age and I cannot say that I have achieved this. Like I cannot speak of a significant achievement that I have made. So it's kind of weigh me down. It usually made me sad. So I believe if someone had told me that, maybe it would have made a huge difference to the way I approach life. Another one is it is completely okay to outgrow people. This is not spoken about a lot, even in my times, in my space, in my environment. A lot of people haven't fully acknowledged the fact that it's completely okay to outgrow certain people. Even I still trying to lean into that. There are friendships that I used to have that are not really significant anymore. I feel sad about it sometimes, but this idea of it being okay to outgrow certain people has just made me approach that in a different way. And truly, it is completely okay to outgrow people. I'd like to talk more on this, but I think we'll just leave that for later videos. The next one on my list is being quiet doesn't mean being weak. I learned this very recently when I started my intentional journey to becoming a feminine woman. And I learned that you do not have to always respond to every sort of action that come your way. Sometimes silence, quietness is the best response. And the beautiful thing about it is that when you are able to manage it, when you're able to control your emotions and avoid speaking in certain case scenarios, a lot of people tend to respect people like that. A lot of people will respect you. So it might sound cliche, but it's actually true. Sometimes you don't need to speak. Let your silence do the speaking. So we go on to the next point. Male attention is not validation. Most of these things are things that I learned very recently in the last 2 to 3 years. I had to completely eliminate myself from the male gaze and just have a good definition about myself, not what the male says that I am, but who I say I am. So I want you to go home with this. The male validation does not really define you. The next one on my list is it is okay to not know who you are yet. This is a thing because as much as I tell you that you need to know yourself for your own self, it is also true that it is going to be hard for you to find yourself. Because I tell you that even I, as old as I am, I know I'm not old, as old as I am, I still am on the journey to discovering myself. I'm learning about myself. Nobody just wakes up one day and learns everything about his or herself. It takes working, it takes actions, reactions, it takes reflection to know who you are, to know what makes you who you are. If that makes sense. I hope it does. So, yes, the next one is rest is not laziness. Oh my God. I needed to hear this myself. As much as I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself. Rest is not laziness, but at the same time, don't confuse laziness for rest. They are just demarcated by a very thin line. You can rest a little too much, that it becomes laziness. So take that, okay? Rest is not laziness. The next one is something that I hold dear to heart that that would have changed the entire trajectory of my life. God is not waiting for you to be perfect. He's just waiting. He just needs you to be willing. This, God is not waiting for you to be perfect. He just wants you to be willing. And I need to speak this to all of my Christian girlies who are intentionally working on their faith, working on their spirituality. Don't beat yourself up. It is okay not to be perfect. God is not expecting you to be perfect. All He needs from you is to continuously strive. Don't quit. Don't give up. If you fail today, you get back on your horse and you keep going. Next one is your emotions are not too much. This is something that is very peculiar to me because I dare to say that I don't really see females that, have so much emotions to deal with. I know that generally we women are usually emotional, we are emotional beings, but it's just that for some people it's deeper and for some people it's less deeper. So if you know that you are someone who feel things on a very deep level, just know that whatever you feel is very valid. Yes, people are going to tell you otherwise, but your emotions are valid. And every time you experience something that is completely unacceptable or it looks like it's unacceptable by people, you just need to take time by yourself, reflect, and ensure if actually these emotions of yours are just you trying to overreact or exaggerate things. Don't let people define it for you. Do that by yourself. But if you're someone that feel things deeply, it is okay. I'm someone that feel things deeply, so I can relate to you so much. Anyways, the next one is say no would make people hate you. Say no would means you are wicked. Say no means you are selfish. There's so many stereotypes that is around, choosing yourself. When you choose yourself, people would assume that you are wicked. They assume that you're selfish, you're not caring. But I need you to know that it is completely okay to say no. It is hard. It is not something we learn overnight. I struggled with saying no for a very long time. I was a people pleaser for a very, very long time. But I learned it step by step, slowly. I learned to say no. And I'm still on that path, actually, learning to say no. But more than ever, I used to say no now. So a win win. Anyway, so the next one is you are becoming someone beautiful, even on the messy days. One thing I do that I feel like I should stop is on those days where I'm less productive, I tend to sabotage myself a lot. I tend to, you know, make myself feel bad. I call myself lazy. I call myself all sort of names. I just feel bad generally for not being productive. And that is a lie. The society expects you to become perfect overnight, but that does not exist. It's a process. It's a process of becoming, continuous learning, relearning, unlearning. Don't ever forget this. You are becoming someone beautiful even on messy days, even on the lazy days, even on the tired days. It is still part of the journey. It was never meant to be easy. Your consistency, your resilience is what is going to birth your becoming. So remember, this is a space for you to grow, to learn, to reflect, to share your experience, to communicate. This is not just about you. It's about us, it's about the ladies, it's about the women in general. Finally, we have come to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe so you'll be part of this beautiful and amazing community. Anyways, I'll see you in my next video. But until then, keep growing.